The inspiration behind Educate to Empower was actually a couple of things. I was an educator in Botswana in southern Africa, and there I was teaching local teachers about HIV/AIDS issues so that they could go back into their own communities and teach people in their own language. When I came out to Vancouver, I was doing workshops, and I continue to do workshops on HIV/AIDS issues in several places around the city, and some of the places that I go to are women recovery centers. And there was a couple of things that I noticed while I did those workshops there, and one of them was that a lot of the women that were at the recovery centers after receiving the HIV/AIDS workshop would come up to me and say they really appreciated the workshop, they really appreciated learning these skills because they'd like to bring it back to teach their children or nephews or nieces or people that they knew in their own communities. And then the other thing that was happening was that a lot of the staff that worked at these places would come up and say that this was an interesting program and that they would like to have the opportunity to learn these skills themselves for the times when I can't make it, and they can actually bring it back into their own programs. So we thought of working on a series of 2-hour workshops that could either be done on their own or done together as a series, so that people from recovery centers, whether it be staff or actually people that are attending there, or teachers, schools and universities, or people at immigration centers, can actually utilize these workshops and fit them into their own programs in the way that they feel works best for them. I think that as much as we would like to think that HIV/AIDS stigma and discrimination doesn't exist, the reality is it still does, and the only way for all of us to get beyond that is for people to actually understand and become more aware of not only the facts about the HIV virus and how it's transmitted, but also people's real life situation behind it and how it affects people's lives.
Well, I think a lot of HIV prevention education has either focused on the facts of HIV, which obviously is important, but it doesn't get into all of the complex elements around relationships, around emotions, around things that the complexity of our sexual relationships and our relationships with other people.
So we're not just talking about HIV 101. We're talking about social justice issues. We're talking about issues around gender. We're talking about issues around sexuality. We're talking about issues around negotiating safer sex, which is far more complex than the ABCs, the abstinence, be faithful, use a condom. We're talking more about something that's a little bit richer and deeper. We're highlighting the complexity behind the disease. I'd like to tell you a little bit about the Mapping the Body workshop. It's an interesting workshop in that not only does it let people know about what various artists have done to make people more aware of HIV/AIDS issues, it allows people that are taking part in the workshop to really get involved. It's a great outlet. It's a great way to finish a workshop, especially if there's been a whole series of workshops. Because people can see all of their ideas manifest on paper in a very creative, very beautiful way. I think the other thing that's unique about Mapping the Body is that it stimulates conversations that might not have happened otherwise. There's something about allowing people the opportunity to be creative that it just gets people more comfortable with each other and with themselves. Mapping the Body can also be done with people that are living with HIV or living with hepatitis C, and they can use the Mapping the Body workshop as a way to describe how HIV or how hepatitis C affects them, affects their body. A lot of times people are very used to receiving charts or diagnoses from doctors, and it can feel very impersonal. And then this allows people to actually artistically demonstrate how something makes them feel. It's definitely giving people an alternative way of communicating. Sometimes the spoken word just isn't enough.
AIDS Vancouver is very pleased to have received funding from the MAC/AIDS Community Grants Program for this exciting workshop series on HIV prevention and education. It's a process where we actually reach out to the communities that are at risk and help train people within those communities to deliver the HIV prevention and education messages.
What I really loved was there's so much learning going on, and it's so relaxed and so creative, and everybody's feeling free to participate, everybody's talking, you know, any of our shyness and reticence is like overcome, and we're all being who we are and sharing. It's so rare to be in an environment like that.
You can never have too much information. There's still a lot of misconception about certain ideas with HIV. You know, you can catch it if someone sneezes on you, or, you know, you get to find out how it's transmitted and how to be safe, how to have safe sex. So information is, you're empowered when you've got information.
So if an organization would like to have one of these workshops at their own location, we can facilitate that. I can come and do a workshop, or one of our volunteers can come and do a workshop to train your staff. Another way that we can work is that we can actually hold training workshops here. We have a space, we have our own training room. So if you'd like more information about booking your own workshop, you can give us a call here at AIDS Vancouver. Our number is 604-893-2201. Or you can also visit our website at www.aidsvancouver.org.